Welcome PSY 364 students. This is my week 3 commentary in the Psych of Men and Boys Fall 2017. We now have the first workshop behind us, the orientation workshop. I thought both the Saturday discussion as well as the Sunday review were good ones. About half the class took advantage of the opportunity, but I think that we are in pretty good shape as we're moving into the substance of the course now. In the first week, we looked at the issues of men's studies and what they were about, and the need for men's studies, the study of psychology of men and boys in particular. In the second week, we began exploring the issues of masculinity. And I want to underline the fact that masculinity and doing gender is a singular point of view. And this week we look at some of the other formulations for this response to the question, what is masculinity? This week we dig into a difficult area, which is contemporary biological psychology, as we look at biological influences that shape masculinity, not only in terms of its expression at a point in time, but also importantly developmentally over time. So we look at the role of chromosomes and hormones and the endocrine system, both at a point in time and, as I said, over time. To do this, I've given you a supplemental reading, which is to say 2 chapters of Linda Brannan's very excellent book, The Psychology of Gender. The first chapter in particular deals with the developmental biopsychological aspects, the ways in which hormones influence the shaping of brain structure over time, and the influence of hormonal levels at different points of the life cycle. So this is a more nuanced view of that classic psychology question of nature versus nurture, and instead we take a biosocial perspective, and I would even say a biopsychosocial perspective, and look at the influencing factors in shaping masculinity, and indeed the psyche of men and boys, the psychological life of men and boys. So there's much for us to look at here and discuss and consider. I hope that you'll keep an open mind and avoid simple formulations of the masculine psyche either being learned or being innate. You'll learn about the debate between the essentialists and the constructionists, and of course, as all such simplistic debates, those are the extremes. And finding a point of view that looks at the possibility of multiple influences is our challenge. All that being said, this image from this week's front page on our website is from a good source called Simply Psychology, where some of these aspects of biopsychological influences are addressed to a much younger audience than yourselves. And by that I mean it's simpler and it's clearly done. It's good in that respect, but doesn't have the in-depth understanding that Brannan's chapter will bring to you. The second reading for this week is another chapter of Brannan, and these are major theories of masculinity from the point of view of the psychology of gender. I think it's a good review of some of the great contributors to gender development, gender schema theory, and gender identity from an earlier period perhaps, but nevertheless of great value even in the present era. So I invite you to look at both of them, post your questions about both of these chapters, and let's see if we can develop a point of view that will be helpful to you after this course is over. Okay, I think those are the major issues. This is one of those steady on weeks. We are coming up to the due date for the first test, but it's still several weeks off. So if you'll follow the weekly expectations, I think you'll be in good shape for that first examination. Thanks for your attention, and do call me if there are any questions or concerns, particularly those of you who are unable to make the workshop. I'm more than happy to have a one-on-one session and hopefully make sure you're off to a good start in the course. Have a good day.